This is the Middle of Nowhere Gaming Podcast.
Welcome into episode 34 of the Middle of Nowhere Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Courtney Osborne. Woo! And I have Lou with me. Oh.
That sounds really disappointing.
Today it's only me and Lou, so this is the two-player episode or something like that.
Two-player podcast.
Two-player podcast. There we go. Yeah, greatness, right? Greatness. Well, before we get started, we just hit 700 likes on our Facebook page, so yay!
All right.
Something special. Lou, take it from here.
Okay, yeah. So we hit 700 likes, and we were debating whether or not we were going to do a giveaway. And I think up to this point, we've been doing giveaways every 100 likes, but we've gotten so big now, we might actually just wait till 750. We think we're that important.
Yeah, that important.
But seriously, we're going to wait till 750, and hopefully by that point, there's something better to give away. I mean, this week we got Transistor, and that's really it. And not that that's a bad game by any means, but hopefully... when we reach 750, we'll have something big to give you guys.
So be sure and share our Facebook page. Go like it. Go share it with all your friends and family, all those good people. Anybody who likes video games and all that stuff. Get us up to 750 as quick as you can so that we can give away a game. Hopefully it'll happen next week. That'd be cool, but I kind of doubt it. So
they don't even need to like video games. We're not discriminatory.
Yeah, we don't care. Our moms like the page. Yes, yeah. Our moms like the page.
That was number 699.
Yeah. Mine was like back in the early first 100. So
your mom's so proud of you.
She was ahead of the game. She beat your mom to it. My mom is better than your mom, Lou.
She thought it was just another one of my fads.
We do have a lot of those, like Nintendo. I mean. Oh.
Hey.
I'm sorry. Other than our Facebook likes, another cool thing that we've had going on lately is we've been putting up a lot more videos. So if you've been watching the videos, you already know this, but if you haven't, go to our YouTube page, and you can find a bunch of Let's Plays and other video content that we're going to be putting up over the course of the summer since we have more free time. We started a Portal 2 Let's Play and a Wolfenstein The New Order Let's Play. We did that for the first 2 hours of the game, so there's 7 videos up for that one. So if you want a preview to the game, if you don't know if you want to buy it or not, go ahead and check that out, because that's a good intro to the game. It'll show you what it's all about. It'll show you how whether or not you think it'll be fun, whether or not it's a good story, all that stuff. But I recommend going and checking those out.
All right, but what about the game?
What about the game?
One sentence. Do you recommend it?
Okay. As I explained to you earlier, I have 3 first-person shooters on PlayStation 4 now. Call of Duty Ghosts, Killzone Shadowfall, and Wolfenstein The New Order. And if I had to pick one of them to buy and keep for the rest of my life, it would be Wolfenstein.
Okay.
So now whether or not that translates to a score, whether or not any of that stuff, you can't say any of that yet, but that's how I feel about it. So...
Okay, what about the Courtney Dream section of the podcast?
The Dream section.
Anything interesting?
No, not so much. Oh, here's a good story though. So I've been doing some live streaming lately. Me and Erica have been, and we hang up our PS4 camera up on the wall so that we can see us when we scoot back, so that it can have us both on the camera, And the way it's hanging up on the wall, at nighttime when the lights are off, it looks like it's a cross up there hanging on my wall. And I've never been one to hang crosses in my room or anything like that. And so at nighttime when I'm alone in my room and I look up there, it starts to bring back these exorcism movie memories and stuff. And I'm like, oh no, oh god. I start freaking out about it. And so it's really creepy.
I think that counts.
It's close to a dream.
I'll do my story.
Okay.
I have a story. I mentioned it a little earlier. I was in Brooklyn lately, visiting for a college friend's birthday, and we were going over to a friend's house for a party. It's a bunch of hipsters in Brooklyn. Apparently, that's the new big thing. I don't know, but we were in this really hipster area of Brooklyn, and I walked in, and 2 people I didn't know, and they had Wii U's.
Oh, snap.
And that was that blew my mind because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the world who owns a Wii U. But I sat down and they were like clearing stuff out for the party, and these two guys were like, "Oh, don't worry about that. That's like a new Nintendo thing. You probably haven't heard of it." I'm like, "No, I have one of those. That's my job."
I actually tell people about this all the time.
So the story is that I met another Wii U owner, and it was great. It was everything I ever hoped it would be.
Oh, we forgot to mention at the top of the podcast. Sorry for the delay. Sorry that it's Friday or Saturday or whenever you're listening to this. We had some scheduling issues on Wednesday and stuff, so we're going to try to be more on time or maybe even change up the schedule. We don't know yet. Now that it's summer, our whole worlds have opened up. It's crazy. Not really.
Kind of.
Not really, but whatever. Okay, so let's get into the news from nowhere. Yeah?
Yeah.
News from nowhere.
All right, how many pieces do we have?
We have 11.
That's a good list.
It's a good week. In fact, there's a lot of announcements. Number 1, Ubisoft has announced Far Cry 4 is in development. It will be released on November 18th in the US and November 20th in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. In this iteration of the series, the player finds himself in Kyrat, an area in the Himalayan mountains under the rule of a tyrannical king. Like previous titles, the player will have a vast amount of weapons and vehicles at his disposal to wreak havoc and carve their own adventure out of an open-world landscape. And anyone who pre-orders the game will receive a limited edition upgrade, which includes a series of 3 single-player missions called Herc's Redemption. These missions will feature Herc and his harpoon gun, the Impaler, from Far Cry 3's DLC. Sweet. I didn't get to play the DLC for Far Cry 3, but
I heard it was awesome.
Yeah, I did too. And Far Cry 3 itself was awesome. So I am really, really, really stoked for this. How do you feel about the controversy around the
I was just
cover?
about to say something about that. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the big hullabaloo what that's all about, because like they're upset because it's kind of racist, or there's this hint of racism. BioShock just came out and they were stoning black people.
Yeah,
I mean, no one mentioned any of that. I mean, the evil people are evil and they're doing evil things, and we don't like yell at the developers at other games for having people who want to kill the world. I mean, it sucks and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be.
The point I brought up to one of my friends when we were talking about it was that Wolfenstein is like completely racist. Like the entire thing, like the story surrounding it is all about, Nazis killing everyone in the rest of the world because they're not Aryan. It's like so many games these days, especially ones that are first-person shooters or surrounded by killing, are racist, have racism in them and stuff like that. And the biggest point about all this is that the fucking guy on the cover's not white. Like, he's not white. I don't understand what everyone's problem is. It's not a white guy holding down an Asian guy. It's an Asian guy holding down an Asian guy. They're just two different kinds of Asian.
Is that really? I didn't actually.
Yeah, if you look close enough, he's not white.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It's just, oh my god.
It's the blonde hair.
Yeah, it's the dyed blonde hair that makes him look white. And I don't know. I just think people are fucking pissing up a storm about anything that they can. It reminds me a lot of all the other Ubisoft games that come out, because there's controversy around all of them, like the whale impaling stuff and Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but PETA makes a storm about everything. I mean, they made a big bitch fit about Pokemon.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there was other stuff about like the skinning and then the Indians and stuff in Assassin's Creed 3 as well. Yeah. Excuse me. I don't know. I think it's silly. I think people are being too butthurt over it. In the world we live in today, people need to get the fuck over it and stop complaining about this shit. Right. Far Cry 3 has always been a game that's pushed, or Far Cry has always been a game that's pushed like social limits and issues and stuff like that. And so just let them do what they're doing. They're making games that are awesome. It's
like any other form of media at this point. I mean, no one's complaining that movies or TV show, no one comes out there and says, SVU is wrong because it depicts rape. I mean, it's a show that is showing what actually happens in today's society, unfortunately, and there are bad guys and there are good guys. So, I mean, you're going to have this. That's just the nature of the medium now.
Yeah, and we don't want to limit video games either.
Free speech.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
All right. Now, talking about divisions in the gaming community on this opinion. Ubisoft has also announced that The Division will be delayed until 2015. The dev team released the following statement on their official blog. Working on The Division is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all of us at Massive, Reflections, and Red Storm Entertainment. We're creating something we are really proud of and don't want to compromise on quality. We're going to release the game when it's ready.
I like how you went with the segue with The Division and not just Ubisoft.
I didn't want to go the easy route.
You had to make it difficult, which it's cool. I never thought The Division was coming out this year. We didn't ever see enough. It looks awesome, and I hope that this delay just makes it better, because we've talked about it several times on the podcast that the delays suck for us, but at the same time, if they make a game truly better than what it would have been had it released when it was supposed to, then all the better. We want a better game on the market.
Right, but at this point, I'm actually worried about something, about delays. Not that delays are a bad thing, because they're not. Games should come out when they're ready, and that's important. But why is it that so many games now are getting these delays? Like, why is it for a long time we used to be able to sit there and say, do you know what, they're doing the step up from standard definition to HD, and that's the reason why we're seeing a lot of these delays. They didn't really understand how much work they're going to have to put into this. By this point, we've seen almost every major title get a delay this year.
See, this is something I was talking to my buddy about also, that everyone.
Who's your buddy?
Steven.
Give your buddy a name.
Steven.
All right. Hi, Steven. We're talking to you about you.
Every one of these games that have been delayed are cross-generational or only next gen or only current gen. And each one of these were all announced in the first half of last year. They were all announced before the consoles were even out. They were all announced as these giant projects that, we're going to get these out in the first year and they're going to be awesome and everyone's going to be so excited. And these huge, huge projects that they just, every single one of them, if you would just look back at the when they were announced and what the release date was, add about 6 months to every one of them, and the game, that's when the game's actually going to come out. Like, it's just, it was too much for them to try and get it out that fast. I don't think any of them were ready.
Right. I just hope it's not a thing where it's part of the industry at this point, where it's just expected. We'll say it's coming out then, and that'll give a lot of buzz, and then we'll tell them that there's a delay. I hope that it's not a planned delay. Yeah. It's something that comes because there was an issue in development that they didn't foresee.
I think after this year we'll stop seeing so many delays. Because, like I said, it's all these games that were originally announced to try and get out right when the next-gen consoles came out, or soon after. And now that these are all going to be out within the next year, I think after that you're going to start to see every game developer stick to their release dates, because they don't need to announce it early. They don't need to be like, oh yeah, the PS4 is going to be so awesome because we have this game coming to it, and we're trying to beat Xbox. And eventually, within the next year or two, it's going to be, we're developing the next game, and it will be out when it's out, or they'll announce it when they're ready to announce it, rather than having Sony and Microsoft breathing down their neck saying, hey, we have to have something for Christmas next year. We have to have this, and that, because I think that's what was the case early on.
Right. Okay,
but that may just be me. I don't know. So, speaking of the industry, huh?
No.
Horrible. Oh man,
awful.
Okay, speaking of release dates, yeah, there we go. Speaking of release dates, 343 Industries has announced that Halo 5 Guardians will launch on Xbox One in 2015. Oh man, I'm out of breath. I'm out of shape. I need to start working out.
Yep, summer. You know what? You can review We Fit You.
We Fit You!
That'll get you skinny.
As soon as you buy me that Wii U, I will do that. Bonnie Ross, general manager at 343 Industries, made an announcement on the official Xbox blog and stated, Halo 5 Guardians is a bigger effort than Halo 4. That applies to the content and scope of the game, as well as the technology in what's now a brand new and more powerful engine. Certainly there are some core elements carried over from prior games, but we've invested a huge effort in retooling our tech to take full advantage of the Xbox One's hardware and ecosystem to create worlds and experiences worthy of next gen. Ross also stated that the game will run at 60 frames per second on dedicated servers with the scope, features, and scale we've been dreaming of for more than a decade. Awesome.
Yeah. I can't wait for these actual next-gen games to start rolling around.
Yeah, no more cross-generational shit. Just strictly next-gen. That's going to be the greatest. And specifically Halo 5. Like, everything we've heard rumor-wise about Halo 5 has been awesome. There's been no negative things, like open-world stuff, brand new storylines, like different kinds of storylines. Like, they've been adding new writers and stuff, and it's just... I'm super excited.
Did you like the last one?
No. I mean, I did. It was a good game. It was fun. I enjoyed playing it. I just don't think that Halo is my thing anymore. It was for so long, because I used to be strictly an Xbox guy and nothing else. And it was such a good experience on it, but I just don't know. Halo 4 just didn't hold up to me like Halo 2 and 3 and Reach did. But Halo 5 has a chance to. I give every series I like another chance each time. I'm like, okay, maybe the next one. But the weird part about this was that last year at E3, it was either E3 or the Xbox announcement, or Xbox One announcement, that they revealed the trailer for the next Halo game. And it said 2014. So with this announcement, it appears that this is actually a delay. I don't think anybody's actually said that, but I think since this is being announced for 2015, that means it's a delay. People are going to argue, whoa, well, there's something coming out of Halo this year, and that's what it was. No, it's not what it was for. That trailer was not a previous Halo game. That is a new Halo game, and it sounds like later this year we're going to get a package with Halo 1, 2, and 3 in it for Xbox One, and that's going to be...
That's another story.
Yeah, but
Don't go into that.
Oh, is that another story on the list?
I think it is.
No,
Yeah, number 6.
Oh, it is? Oh, well, whatever. There we go. Ha! Halo Collection. Heading to Xbox One later this year. But anyways, yeah, so this collection, set to be named Halo the Master Chief Collection, is expected to include Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo 4. Oh yeah, all 4 of them, sorry. Sources close to Engadget have claimed that the release is aimed at refreshing the player's memory of Master Chief's journey, hence the reason why Halo 3 ODST and Halo Reach are not set to be a part of this collection. So yeah, so that's supposed to be, if true, the 2014 Halo experience. And then Halo 5 Guardians is going to be 2015. So, like I said, that seems like a delay if you look at it that way. Who cares? I mean, if we're getting a Halo experience this year, if we're getting the collection of Master Chief stuff, that is awesome, because those are great games, and if they're up-res to the Xbox One's, abilities, that'll be even cooler. So, and you're not a Halo player, are you? Because you don't have an Xbox?
I've tried. I loved the multiplayer when that was all that was around me, and that was for some time when I was in camp.
Yeah.
But, I've never really owned an Xbox, and I've tried, and I've played it, and it never really stuck with me. I'm not a big fan of sci-fi games, weirdly enough.
Yeah. I've strictly liked Halo for its multiplayer over the years, but and its story's got, huge iconic moments, and the overstory of Halo is really great. But I've had a lot of people lately tell me that they love Halo's story, and I just don't get it. I'm like, it's not really that good. Like, the overstory is, like, I love the background stuff about Halo's universe, but the actual story is just not great. Well, in my opinion, obviously. But and so I'm hoping the new writers improve Halo 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the luckiest soldier in the universe, you know who is rather unlucky are last generation console gamers. Yeah. Because Ubisoft has stated to Game Informer that they have no plans. Oh, actually, they are lucky. I completely read that wrong.
I was like, where are you going with this? I don't understand.
Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase that. Speaking of the luckiest soldier, next old generation console owners are also lucky because Ubisoft currently has no plans to discontinue support for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 platforms. See, it said no discontinue. That's double negative. Messed me up. Anyway, Ubisoft CEO, how do you pronounce that? Yves?
This? I have no idea. Guillemot.
All right. Yves Guillemot stated that Ubisoft expects to continue to support these consoles for the foreseeable future. Additionally, Guillemot hinted that an Assassin's Creed title will appear on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 this year, though he didn't say that the title would be Assassin's Creed Unity, which is currently confirmed only for current gen hardware.
It'll be Assassin's Creed Comet. What's already been rumored and just hasn't been announced. Yeah, everyone pretty much knows, but they just haven't announced it officially. So, how do you feel about that?
They're doing it right. I will commend Ubisoft because they're not splitting games into. They're not making one game and making a good version, a bad version, and the good version's only like barely better. They're making two completely different games, or it seems like that's how they're going to try to support these consoles, is making a really good current gen console experience and an old last generation console experience.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to ask was if they were splitting hairs or whatever, if they were trying to make the same game on both consoles, that would be a different story. That would be something we would be like, no. We don't want our current gen games to be shitty because we had to make a last gen. We want completely different games. But then there's also going to be a fan base that's going to hate that. And they're going to be like, well, I want to play all of the games, and I sold my last gen console to get my current gen. So what the fuck, Ubisoft? You know, like I've heard that outcry, and that's annoying. You know, it's like if you want to play them both, then get them fucking both. But you can't have the best of both worlds and have them make great next gen games if they have to go to the last gen. You know,
right? And Ubisoft has a history with this. They've done it before. Do you know a game?
Nope.
Splinter Cell Double Agent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was named the same thing. It came out on two systems. I forget which ones exactly. Let me just look it up. It came out on PS2, Xbox, GameCube, and Wii, and also on Xbox 360, PC, and PS3. And it was named the same thing, but they gave two completely different experiences with different stories and different gameplay stuff, and it was really interesting that they chose to do that. But they have a history of supporting the various platforms separately.
Yeah, and Ubisoft they're becoming such a great developer right now, great publisher as well.
I'm more excited for their conference than Microsoft's. I'm going to be honest.
I'm actually really excited about Microsoft's because of all the changes they've made lately. So
you think they're going to throw down?
I think they're going to throw down the gauntlet, and they're going to be like, Sony, what the fuck's up, brah? And Sony's going to have to respond. And I love competition, and I
want like WWE like theatrics like last year.
Yeah, like last year, exactly.
Like the posted video. This is how you share games on PlayStation.
Last year was the best conference. Oh my god, I enjoyed that so much.
I hope for you guys. I was watching Nintendo and I cried silently to sleep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope we can have something like last year's. Okay, so next, right? Number 5. April's NPD report reveals that Titanfall was the best-selling game of the month and the PlayStation 4 was the best-selling console of the month. NPD analyst Liam Callahan says that life to date, sales of PS4 and Xbox One hardware have been more than doubled the combined sales of PS3 and 360 hardware through their first 6 months of sale. And this was Titanfall's second month at number 1, with Call of Duty Ghosts falling not too far behind it. Not a surprise that PlayStation 4 is still number 1, especially in April before the big changes were made to Xbox One. Titanfall, not a surprise that it was best-selling game either, because PS4 didn't have a whole lot of games come out last month, or a whole lot of exclusive games, and so you would expect that the big system seller on Xbox One would probably be the number 1 game for a while, especially since it's a multiplayer game. More people want to play it to get into that multiplayer experience.
Right.
However, I will not be surprised if in June and July Xbox One overtakes PS4 on those months in sales because of the drop in price and everything like that.
Maybe. I'm not putting any bets down.
It'll be interesting. And a lot of it may have to do with E3. depending on what's announced at E3, that could also completely change the landscape and how systems are going to sell.
Right. You got to keep in mind that, it might be a victory for that month, but it's a victory because they forfeited any sales within the next month or two because of the drop in price. Like, they've essentially said that they're not going to expect anyone to buy it at this point.
That's true.
Until E3. Or at least anyone who knows the industry.
Well, yeah, I would expect that for May, PlayStation 4 is going to outsell the Xbox One again. But June and July may be the month that Xbox One finally outsells the PS4 for 1 month at a time, But they're still going to fall way far behind in the universal sales, lifetime date sales. But
right. Mario Kart 8's coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Wii U can come out and get it.
In the last day of the month? For June maybe, yeah.
Iwata says it takes one game.
I expect that to happen for Super Smash Bros. Because
I expect it to happen for Zelda when Zelda comes out.
Oh, that's true.
Because by that point, that'll be a completely comprehensive library, and anyone who's ever been on the fence will probably jump on board.
That'll be nice. That'll be really nice.
Including you.
Including me. As soon as you buy it. Okay. Number 7?
Yeah, sure. While we're giving you an update on the MPD update, we're going to update you on the Xbox One system update, which is now available. The update includes the Get System Update button, which will be grayed out when no patch is available. When update becomes available, the Get System Update button will light up, and users can then force their Xbox One to install the update immediately. Can force their Xbox One? That sounds like violent. Anyway. It also includes a new sound mixer for apps with Snap and volume controls when using Connect with Chat. The sound mixer will allow you to control the volume of the two apps and control which one is louder when using Snap. Additionally, we have the ability to opt in to help improve speech recognition. If you choose to opt in, Microsoft will be able to collect your voice data in order to help improve your speech recognition with Connect. Finally, they also gave the ability to snapping the Xbox One Skype app will make it much easier to chat using Skype while playing a game. If you want to grab the 53 megabyte update, just launch the Skype app on your Xbox One and it'll start to download.
Yeah.
Never right. This doesn't apply to either of us.
Nope, since we don't have Xbox Ones. But, however, I do think it's a good update.
Who had the better update, this or the PlayStation one?
The PlayStation one, absolutely, hands down. Because we got the ability to HDCP off and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, I wrote this story, and like I said in my opinion, if I remember correctly, that a lot of these updates on this Xbox One update are not huge. They're not game changers. They're nothing like that. But they are small changes to processes and things that were going on in the Xbox One that should have been there at launch. These are things that seem simple. Oh, you mean now I can force my system to update? Oh, you mean now that I can actually control my Connect chat? Oh, you mean now that I can actually control my Skype? It's like, those are things that should have been there. But it's good that they now are. They're finally there. These are things that the Xbox One should have had, and it's good to know that Xbox knows that these things should be there and that they're updating them.
Right, and we're not trying to trash talk Microsoft by any means, because even the last PS4 update, which we loved, that was all stuff that should have been there at launch too. Yep, I mean, being able to stream in 720, to put stuff on a drive, and to have HDCP off, that's all stuff that should have been there. I'm glad that they're adding these now, and I love updates. Like, I know that the last couple of years on the PS3, when stuff would come out, I used to hate walking in and seeing that there was an update, but these are all updates I actually like and look forward to, and there's always new features it adds. I'm actually excited for when these new things come out.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I hated PS3 updates and 360 updates as well. They were annoying, and they seemed like they took 4 hours to update, and then when you would actually update it, nothing changed, and it was just because they were increasing stability and stuff like that. And these are things that are actually changing. People use this stuff, and they're making good changes.
Right. Just got a little less red rings of death.
Yeah. So, speaking of the current generation of consoles, PlayStation Now beta is finally available on PlayStation 4. I have been seeing all over the internet people posting pictures of a PlayStation Now email invite to it, and people hosting the actual app on their PS4. So that's really cool. But the story reads, if you haven't already registered for the PlayStation 4 beta program, Sony suggests that you keep an eye on your email inbox for the voucher to join in on the fun. However, even if you did not have the chance to sign up, there's no reason to lament, as Sony is still taking applications for both the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 Now betas. According to Sony, they're seeing rather nice numbers with 50,000 gameplay hours discovering new games, rediscovering favorites, and racking up trophies. I really wish that I got into this.
I'm guessing that means that you haven't, and I still haven't, and no one from our team has.
No, we have one person.
What?
Yep.
Who?
Yep. Brett. Brett got in.
Oh, that lucky son of a bitch.
I know, right?
He got on IGN, didn't he, too?
Yep.
What is wrong with him? God.
Yeah, he got on IGN, and nowhere on there mentions Mong. I was like, oh, come on, man. You wrote this story for us, and you get on IGN, and you don't mention us. Balls.
Killing me, Brett.
Oh, man. Yeah, I can't wait for PlayStation Now to actually be released. I'm really excited. I hope it works like everyone says it does.
We gotta ask Brett, is there a non-disclosure agreement? Can he actually tell us about some of this stuff?
I think it's private, right? It's a private beta? I don't know. Everyone's posting about it, so it can't be that private. Maybe they can say they have it, but not talk about it.
I mean, they could just be breaking the contract.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But
yeah, I'll check in with him. Maybe we'll have him here next week to describe how it is.
We will see. Wahaha! Tune in next week to find out. It's like, sorry guys, we forgot. So
when is beta supposed to come live?
Ooh, like the actual service?
Yeah.
This summer. I mean, that's all we know. That's all we know.
Speaking of updates that are happening in June. Xbox One is going to have a June update, and the features have been revealed. The update will include several new features, including support for external storage, the ability to use real names, smart glass improvements, and the ability to automatically sign in. Yeah, I completely just set you up just so I can make a transition. I'm sorry.
No, I gotcha. I was laughing at the update features. Again, more stuff that should have been there at launch. More stuff seems really simple, but good to know that Xbox is finally adding all these features. Because they need to, if the competition in the market is PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, that's it. And so everything that one of them has, the other one has to have it. And so it's good to see that Xbox is adding these things that PlayStation 4 already has.
I still can't say PlayStation on, and it'll turn on. I'm so upset about that. I can say PlayStation off, and it works.
Yeah. I don't ever use voice commands, so...
I do it to sometimes impress my friends.
Yeah, I did it the other day to impress Erica. I was like, PlayStation home, and it happened. So... Well, actually, it didn't happen right away. It happened after saying it like 4 times, but still.
So then you just sound like an idiot. PlayStation home.
PlayStation home. Phone home, PlayStation. Phone home. Oh, man. Okay, so that's about it for that. I don't really have a good segue for that one.
Let's go into it.
Okay, so number 10, the first gameplay trailer for Batman Arkham Knight has been released. A statement under the video describes the trailer as such. Scarecrow returns to Gotham City with a scheme to unite the Rogues Gallery and destroy the Batman once and for all. As the citizens of Gotham flee and criminal gangs take control of the city, Batman evens the odds, taking to the streets in the legendary Batmobile to ignite the fight that will decide the future of the city that he has sworn to protect. And the evens the odds part, that's what the trailer's called, and he says it or whatever in the trailer, and it's like totally badass. Like, I didn't know that's what it was called, and when Batman was like, I'm just evening the odds, I was like, oh, that would be a perfect title for this trailer. And then what do you know? That was actually the title for it. So
woohoo.
Yeah, I was like, man, I could totally name trailers. I was like, I totally picked that out. But the trailer Actually, it's called a gameplay trailer. It didn't show any gameplay. 2 minutes of trailer time, and there was not a single thing of gameplay really. It was like all cinematic. It was all
Or gameplay's that good that you think it's cinematic.
No, I know the difference now. It's like, no.
You've been fooled too many times.
Yeah. There was like stuff like him jumping in the Batmobile and stuff like that. And it's like you could call that gameplay, but you don't actually get to control that. You literally, like in the game, you will probably walk up to it, click square, and he will automatically jump into it. So it's like, that's not gameplay, guys. You have to show fights and gliding and stuff that's actual gameplay for it to be gameplay. So don't let it fool you. It looks really badass. The game looks so cool. I'm really excited, but that is not gameplay. It's not. It's just not.
Okay. Well, speaking of iconic heroes taking on hordes of enemies, details have emerged for Hyrule Warriors. For those who don't remember, Hyrule Warriors was announced in the December Nintendo Direct, and it's a combination of Legend of Zelda and what's the name of the
Dynasty
main
Warriors.
series? Dynasty Warriors. Yeah, it's a big Japanese one. I've never played it.
It's boring.
But, yeah, people are going nuts there. Anyway, in the article that was released, they gave a few details. For one, the game's being developed by Omega Force, Team Ninja, and is going to be supervised by Anuma, who's done all of the supervising and producing for the main Legend of Zelda games since Ocarina of Time. They mentioned that there's going to be new features added to it. It's going to be mostly a combat game to begin with. It's going to have a skill and leveling system. It had a pretty racy screenshot when they showed all the screenshots, but really the game is looking pretty good for a Wii U game. I was really surprised. It's going to be available at E3, and it seems like it's going to be priced like a normal Japanese game. There, it's something ridiculous like $80 or $90, but that's just what games are priced there. The story is going to follow Link, who's training to become a Hyrule Warrior when Zelda gets kidnapped, of course.
Now, you said it's available at E3. You mean that it'll be available to play at E3?
Available to play at E3.
Okay.
I'm dumb.
Because then you immediately followed it up with a price point, and I was just like, whoa. It's not available for sale, is it? It's like, I thought it was like later this summer in Japan, but no U.S. announcement yet.
Yeah, I don't think they even announced a date specifically, just that it's going to be playable.
Okay. Well, I don't like Dynasty Warriors. I will go on the record for saying that. I am not a fan of it. But
have you tried Dynasty Warriors?
Yes.
Okay.
But tying Link into it, I might do it. That might be the selling point for me. I'm not a what is it? War of the Roses, the Three Kingdoms in China. I'm not a big fan of that or something, like whatever that's called. So I don't know the storyline, and I know a lot of people that like the Dynasty Warriors games do like that storyline. And so that's one reason why they play it. And so I'm not so much into that, but if it's Zelda, I could definitely see myself going for it because there are other games. W Force does a lot of
Omega Force.
Omega Force, yeah, sorry. They do a lot of tie-ins with other series and stuff like that. So there's like a One Piece game, and I've tried that, and I enjoyed it for the One Piece part of it, but I didn't enjoy it for the whole Dynasty Warriors half, and so it's this might actually be the one that brings me in. Plus, the graphics look gorgeous.
Yeah, I was really surprised, and do you know what? The graphics that were released look worse than the graphics that were released today. Nintendo posted like 3 or 4 screenshots, and they look fantastic. Like I was like, this looks like a completely different game.
Yeah.
But then again, that's in the focus of what a Wii U game should look like. I saw a bunch of people complaining that it didn't look as good as Arkham Knight.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's not fair. Nothing looks as good as Arkham Knight. The Division, maybe.
Well, and you can't even compare those. Like, the two consoles, you can't cross Wii U and PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Like, you got to think that Xbox 360 and PS3 had 6, 7, 8 years of development in the HD sphere, while Nintendo has only been in that sphere for, 2 years now?
Yeah, they were twiddling their thumbs.
And so it's like, you can't compare those. It's not a thing. You can't. I don't know. But how do you feel about this whole racy screenshot of the main villain or whatever? I've seen a lot of hubbub about it.
I think that it's not unusual for the Legend of Zelda series. We think it's unusual because it's Nintendo and they're family friendly and this and that. But if you remember some of the fairies from the old games, I mean, they almost had no clothes.
Yeah, that's true.
It was harder to tell which parts are which because everything was all polygon, but it's not strange.
And it's also not a surprise for a Japanese developer. Those happen all the time, which then brings up the topic of like, why do we have to censor them when they come to America? It's like, we're known as being this like racy, no morals country, and yet we censor these sexy, enemies and girls and stuff that are in video games when they come over here for some reason.
Are you speaking specifically Monster Monpiece?
No, I'm not. I'm thinking basically every Japanese game. Like,
okay.
There was one 3DS game that just was like earlier this year or last year.
Oh, it was Bravely Default.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bravery Default, and that they had to censor, and like they were like polygonal, like the characters, they're hard to tell what they look like anyways, and they had to fucking censor some shit, and it wasn't even racy to begin with. I was like, what the fuck?
Do you know why they had to?
Why?
It was because she was like 15 or 14 or 13 and like scantily, I think it was like she was either like preteen or like really early teenager and was scantily clad, so they changed it up so that she was like 17 or 18 and a little more conservative.
Well, point being is that they go too far with this stuff because it's not a big deal. We have worse stuff on TV every day of young girls and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it's stupid, but that's just me. What else? Get rid of censorship, bitches. I don't even care. Title of the podcast: Get rid of censorship, bitches.
They said something along the lines of in one of the latest podcasts. I'm not sure whether it was Game Scoop or Beyond, but it would be really awesome if there was actually an NC-17 or like adults only rating that wasn't the kiss of death.
That's true.
Like, that way you could release these kind of things, and you could, because right now there is adults only, but if anything gets an AO rating, no carrier is going to carry it. It's not going to be at GameStop. It's not going to be at Walmart. It's not going to be online. So that if there was actually an 18 or 18 plus thing where kids weren't even allowed to purchase it, then we might be able to cut back on some of these free speech limitations.
I just think we need to loosen the laws on this shit. It's not. I don't know. We're changing so much as a society. We don't need that strict of censorship. We just don't. In my opinion, again. But whatever. Can we move on before I rage quit? No.
Yeah, sure.
So let's go into listener questions.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So number 1 from Dennis, our faithful listener, Big D. He asks, D-Dog, when do you think most people will make the jump to next gen, current gen, asterisk, whatever. Anyways, so Lou, when do you think?
When it's cheap enough.
When it's cheap enough. Okay. That's good. So price drops?
I think a mix of maybe not a big price drop, small price drop, maybe from $400 to $350, plus next year's tax season, and we're going to see a lot of people jump.
Yeah, I was going to say, I imagine it's going to be next year, probably next fall, when the majority of the games coming out are going to stop on the previous gen, and they're going to increase, and you're going to see a 2-to-1 ratio of next gen games compared to the last gen, and that's when people are going to be like, okay, I see this Assassin's Creed, I'm the best game ever, compared to my, piece of crap, whatever game. Cooking Mama. I can only play Cooking Mama, but I could play Assassin's Creed and Uncharted and all these other games on next gen. So, that'll be the time.
Right.
So, then Dennis asks, talking about E3, what has been your favorite reveal so far?
Ever?
See, I think he's talking about the reveals that have been coming out lately that are coming out before E3, but I don't know.
We haven't had many pre-E3 reveals.
We've had a lot of Microsoft ones, but
yeah,
not a lot of other things. So, do you want to do ever?
Yeah, let's do what's our favorite E3
reveal ever.
Reveal. Yeah.
God, mine's probably going to have to just be from last year. Because
lame.
That's the only one I can really, really, really remember. I would have to look at the notes from the previous ones because I don't remember. Because the years start to get mixed up.
Okay. Well, you don't have to speak specific year. Just what was your favorite announcement?
Even that. Do you have an answer?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a dumb answer too, because I don't get excited over big things that normal people get excited for. I get excited for the small stupid stuff. And mine was when they announced that they were making Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for the 3DS, because Luigi's Mansion is by far one of my favorite games, especially one of my favorite games for the GameCube. It was my first GameCube game too. So I thought that was forgotten history and they were never going to do another one of those things again. And when they announced the Year of Luigi and then followed up with Luigi being one of my favorite characters and followed up with a new Luigi's Mansion game, I went nuts. And I went nuts in a government building because I was doing some internship, and it was during my lunch break that I was watching it. But people were freaking out because I was freaking out. And that was it.
Can I change it to just reveal and not an E3 reveal?
Sure.
Because
you cheat.
Well, the only one he doesn't actually say E3 reveal. He just says reveal. But anyways, the one that really stands out in my mind was last year, but it wasn't at E3. It was at the PlayStation 4 event in February. So I watched Microsoft's event, I watched PlayStation's event, I watched both of their E3 press conferences. The things that stood out to me the most were the price announcement, where they came out and they're like $3.99, and everybody started going crazy and clapping and all that stuff. And then the no use game, that was cool. All that was cool, but nothing made me stand up other than this one. And it was during the PlayStation reveal when he came out and said that it's one of them. I don't even remember who it was that came out, but they came out and said that their partners at Square Enix had something to announce, and they went up to that recording and it showed the Final Fantasy Versus 13 stuff, but then at the end it flashed and said Final Fantasy 15. I literally stood up and was like, oh my god, that was the moment where I was finally, oh my god, I've been waiting for years for this. And I stood up and my jaw dropped and I started yelling and stuff. I fanboyed out in my room by myself.
What about when it followed? Oh,
yeah,
you have to go into that.
Yeah, and I was and then when it goes back to him and he says, hold on a second, we're glad to announce that, but we have one more announcement we would like to make. And then it goes into the Kingdom Hearts announcement, and all of the Kingdom Hearts titles are falling from top to the bottom of the screen. And I got goosebumps standing up on my arms. I was like, oh my god, no way. And it pops up with Kingdom Hearts 3, and I flipped shit. I was like, oh my god! I was fanboying out in my apartment. I was like, Square Enix, yes! Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3! I was going nuts. So that has to be my favorite reveal. And I don't know if it was the timing. I don't know if it was how they did it, because it was kind of like a sneaky announcement, or what it was. Or maybe it was I was running on a high from the PlayStation 4 finally being announced. It could have been all of them, but I flipped out during that video. So that's probably my favorite.
Right. You're going to have to fight Audrey over Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, it's going to be so good. Oh, man. Can't wait. Okay, so, Dennis, another question asked. Do you think publishers will experiment more with games and their prices like Ground Zeroes and Garden Warfare? Or do you think we will see more of $30 or $40 games? And do you think we'll see more of $30 or $40 games? I don't think a whole lot of games are going to go the Ground Zeroes route.
How about the Garden Warfare one?
Now, is that just like a completely change up on the gameplay?
Do you know what? It's kind of what I think when they're saying like Garden Warfare, they're also in that bringing in Bound by Flame. Bound by Flame was a cheaper game. Like,
yeah.
Just smaller $40 priced games, which fall in the middle of these big AAA $60 games and the indie $10, $20 games.
Okay, so I do see that they will do more $40 games. I do think that $30 and $40 games. But I think if I'm correct, Garden Warfare was like a first-person shooter for Plants vs. Zombies.
Third-person shooter, I
Third
think.
person, yeah. Okay, so it was a complete change-up on the style of game. So from that, he may be asking something like a Halo Wars, like a different style of game based off of a universe. And I don't know how much that'll start to happen, like changing up that, because that's really risky for a franchise to do.
I think he's specifically asking for price points.
But yeah, if they do a cheaper games like that, then I do see there's going to be more of that. I don't know how much big developers will see it. Like we saw $15 Child of Light for Ubisoft, which is really cool. But how often are they going to do stuff like this, or other companies other than people like Ubisoft? I don't know. But
would you be more inclined to buy a $40 game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then yeah, I think that it's gonna, if they see that people are buying these games and they're making games people want at $40, they could be lesser games, but I'd probably buy them.
I've made the point all along that if we can just drop the price to $50 or $40, you will actually see more sales on games because people will be willing to take the chance. And so in the end, they will actually make more money by dropping the price, because instead of selling, 5 million of a game, you might actually sell like 7 or 8 million, and the price point will definitely even out, and then it'll go above, and you'll make more profit out of it. So that's what I think. Right. And then his final question, he asked, do you think that we will see more remade games on PS4, or will we see those games on PlayStation Now, on the PlayStation Now app?
I think it matters what games are coming on the PS4. I think we'll see remade versions of games where their sequels are coming out. Like if we see I'm trying to think of something. If we see a new God of War, like if they decide to do that, we're probably going to see a remastered version instead of just it being on PS Now, but they're also going to be on PS Now, I think.
Yeah. Now, okay, so what if at E3 we see Uncharted 4, blah, 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 fall 2015, but then following up by that, we see Uncharted Collection, Uncharted 1 through 3 on PlayStation 4, fall 2014, later this year, to get everybody pumped up like, oh my god, I can play all 3 of them and then play 4 next year because I didn't have a PS3 and I only have a PS4 now, or something like that. Like, do you see that? Is that what you're kind of saying, that more sequels will bring the previous ones over?
Right. I think that if they're already, they might not be great remasters, but they'll be up-resed and look slightly nicer, and maybe have an extra feature or two, scrolling with the map and the touchpad. But I think that they'd be leaving money out on the table if they didn't go and remake these games right before the sequels come out, because there's an eager audience of people who want to play the originals, especially if they haven't before, like you and me. I'm sure that if you went to go play Metal Gear Solid, you'd want to play everything that came before it. Yep,
absolutely. I don't like jumping into the latest game in a series. I want to play them all.
Right, especially if it's a big story game.
Yep. I kind of see this as being if a company is developing a game on next gen or current gen, and it's going to take a while, and if it's easy or easy enough, or they think they can make profit out of it to port a few games over, in the meantime, between their next release and the last release or whatever, I think they're going to do it. You know, like we saw Tomb Raider, we're seeing Metro, we're seeing The Last of Us, we're seeing all these games, and it's probably because, you know, they sold a lot, but they want to sell more. Plus, their next game is still, you know, maybe a year or two out, and they think that they can get this out in the meantime, make a little extra cash, and then release their next game. So it doesn't. I don't think it matters on sequels. I do think that it plays a part, but I don't think that that's always going to be the case.
Right.
You want to get the next question?
Sure. This one is from Chris on Facebook. He says, "What are your 3 favorite game franchises?" Then after that, now pick one to marry, to kill, and to bone.
You could have just said marry, boff, kill. I think we've done this before. I think.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I was yelling I was listening to it. Do you wanna do this one?
Let me. Yeah.
You know what? I think it was characters.
Well, I think we did several of them a few weeks in a row. So, God, there are way too many series that I'm a huge fan of.
I got one.
Oh God,
I'm good off the bat.
Okay, you go.
They're all Nintendo. I am so lame. I'm gonna go with Metroid, Legend of Zelda, and in between Pokemon or Paper Mario. I'm gonna go with Paper Mario at this point.
Okay, so you got Metroid, Legend of Zelda, and Paper Mario. Okay, marry, boff, kill.
All right, I'm gonna
struggle. One of them has to die.
I'm killing Metroid.
Oh, damn.
I love Samus. I love Metroid Prime, but there are a lot of games in that. Not a lot of games. There's one game in the franchise that's not good. But that being said, I think that the other two are just way stronger. It's nothing against Metroid. It's not you. It's me. I'm going to buff. Is that what you say over there?
Boff.
What?
We don't say it here.
Oh, I never said it at all here.
That's a Beyond thing that I heard several years ago.
Oh, okay. Still, let's say I'm going to go with Paper Mario.
You're gonna boff Paper Mario?
Yep, because I think it's a nice, fun ride that I could just play once and one and done. And I'm having a great time while I do it, but it's a weekend's worth of fun and pizza, and that's what I like my relationships to be like. Those kind of relationships.
Those kind of relationships. There you go.
And as for marrying, that leaves Zelda, which Legend of Zelda is a game franchise I could go and play each one in rotation forever and ever ad infinitum. I mean, I still go back and play the old Game Boy Color ones, which were awesome, and everything in the series is awesome. And I can't think of even if I have to think of one bad game, the worst game on that list, which for me is Skyward Swords, is still better than most games I ever play.
Really?
Yeah, Skyward Swords was really popular, and then it kind of fell down into one of the bad ones.
I haven't played that many Zelda games. I played the original.
Sorry.
I played. Sorry, yeah. I played Ocarina of Time. I played Wind Waker.
Oh, that's okay. That's my favorite.
And I actually think those are the only 3 Zelda games I've played. And I'm fascinated with Wind Waker. Wind Waker's amazing, and then Ocarina of Time was also amazing. So those are the 2 that stand out. But I've only played 3 of them. So
right. I mean, you really owe it to yourself to go back and play at least Link to the Past. I haven't played the new one yet. I'm saving that for a rainy day when I'm feeling miserable and have given up on gaming. I'm going to sit down and play A Link Between Worlds and just love life again.
Okay.
Yeah, you go. I could talk forever.
Okay, so I came up with 3. However, this could change really easily. There's one that will always stay the same. The other 2 I can mix in and out with several other franchises, but for the sake of this list, I've come up with 3. And they are Assassin's Creed, Final Fantasy, and Tales. Those are the 3. And what did you go kill, boff, and marry first? Is that how you did it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for the sake of this list, I would kill Assassin's Creed. That hurts. Okay. That hurts to say. That really hurts to say because I'm a history buff, history major, all that stuff. Love those games. But out of this list, I have more fun playing Final Fantasy and Tales. Like they hold a better place, a more important place in my heart than Assassin's Creed does. So I have to kill that. And there's Tales and Final Fantasy left. I would boff the shit out of Final Fantasy. I've enjoyed every Final Fantasy game I've played. The newer ones are gorgeous. Oh my god, they're beautiful. They're so much fun to play. So yeah, I could play them and then not have to go back to them. Even though I've played several of them multiple times now. But that would be the one I'd boff, and then I would marry Tales. And it's because it's my most adored franchise. I don't think they're not the best games by any means. They won't make it into my top 5 games or anything like that. But they have so many games in this franchise that are so important to me that I would love to play over and over and over because I could just switch between them. Like it's such an important game. And I like to tell the story about how I first played my very first Tales game. When I moved up to Lawrence, I didn't know a lot of people, and so I didn't go hang out with a lot of people. I didn't know anybody up here, in fact. And so that's when I really started to pick up my hardcore gaming. I started to go to Family Video and Blockbuster and use GameFly, and I was renting games all the time. And so for like 6 or 7 months, I walked into Family Video every day, and I would see this game called Tales of Vesperia for Xbox 360 sitting on the shelf. And it had like an anime cover, and I was like, oh, that game looks kind of cool. It's got an anime cover. I bet the game sucks ass. I was like, I won't ever take a chance on it, but it looks kind of cool. And so I would see it every damn day, and I would just think about it every time. And finally, I gave it a shot, and I threw it on my GameFly list. And it came in, and it was right at the beginning of when I was starting classes at KU. And I put it in my 360 for the first time, played about the first hour or 2, and the game bored the shit out of me. I was like, this game is horrible. I hate this game. Why would anybody play this? And I wasn't used to JRPGs at that point. Like, I had never even beaten an entire Final Fantasy game at that point either. And so I put it away. I put it in its sleeve, set it on my 360, and it sat there for 3 months. And I didn't play like a single game in that 3 months. I just watched Netflix and went to class. I was getting used to KU and all that stuff. And finally, one day I realized, oh my god, I'm still paying for GameFly. And I have this game sitting there. I should either send it back or beat it. And so I was like, I will give it one more shot. I will put it in there and I will try it one more time. And so I did. And oh my god, I fell in love. Like, I don't know what it was about when I first started playing it that it didn't appeal to me. But that second time, 3 months later, when I put it in, I couldn't stop playing. I would come home from class and I would play it until I went to bed. I would wake up and I would play it until I had to go back to class. And I played the shit out of it. I put in so many hours. And so then, but at that time I only had a 360. And so like, Tales of Vesperia was the only Tales game I could play. It was the only console game I could play it on. Or play a Tales game for. And then eventually I got a PS3. And the first game I wanted to play was the next Tales game, which PS3 had, which was Tales of Grace's F. And oh my god, I put in like 150 hours on it. I fell head over heels for that game, and then eventually would move on to play all of the rest of the Tales games that have been released so far. And so like that series held such a special place in my heart. I have no idea like how I missed out on it for so long.
All right.
So yeah, that's my love story.
Okay.
Next question.
So, let's move on to the next question. Cliff on Facebook said, with all their pre-E3 announcements, it looks like Microsoft is going to have a strong presentation. What does Sony need to do and announce to win E3 again?
They don't need to.
Oh. You think they're just going to do it?
Yeah, they're going to come out swinging. They're going to have games. They're going to have
all right.
Big
what
games.
What is the one game or one announcement that if they announce it, it will reduce the video game group to tears? Like
The Last Guardian.
The Last Guardian. You think that's it?
If The Last Guardian comes out and announced, PlayStation gamers worldwide will shit their pants.
I got one better on you.
Go ahead.
If they suddenly say we're doing, here comes Square Enix. Square Enix comes out and says we have an HD remaster of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII on one disc. Can you imagine that?
Oh, they would die.
Oh my god!
I mean, it's completely implausible and impossible.
Yeah, it won't happen.
But if they were to do that, then everyone would just walk away and just give up on Microsoft forever.
Yeah, see, okay. There are a few big announcements that if they happened, they could win. All of these are unlikely, you know. It's not likely that they're going to come out and they're going to say Last Guardian, Fall 2014. It's not likely that they're going to come out and say Final Fantasy VII, full HD remake. That's not going to happen. But if it does, that would win. And there would be one... What?
How about we extend this question? What could the other groups do to instantly win? What could Microsoft do and what could Nintendo do?
You just wanted to tie in Nintendo.
Yes, I did.
Well, I had one more. If Square Enix came out and said Final Fantasy 15 or Kingdom Hearts 3 this fall, that would be huge because neither of them are expected until next year or the following years after that. And so that would be another big one. But I think The Last Guardian is the most likely.
All right.
Okay, so Microsoft.
We're just sticking with the impossible.
Impossible. Microsoft comes out and says the Halo collection. Like, if that's not announced ahead of time, that's a huge point. If they come out and announce a Gears collection, or if they come out and announce a Fable collection, or something like that coming to Xbox One, those would all be big. But, I mean, they don't have a whole lot of franchises that are unique to them, you know?
Right. I'm going to stick with the moderately plausible could happen, while not being impossible. I think impossible would be we've taken over Naughty Dog.
Taken over Naughty Dog. Oh my god.
We now own Naughty Dog. However, they had the opportunity, and I think missed the opportunity, where they could have said, we are taking Amy Hennig and the lost talent of Naughty Dog. We're creating our own first-party studio, Angry Cat.
Angry Cat. Excuse me. I think it would be beneficial to Microsoft to announce acquisitions of studios. New first-person studios or first-party studios. I was just listening to a podcast Unlocked from right around the Xbox One's release, and Spencer was on there saying that they look at first parties as different than Sony does. They don't really necessarily want to buy out every company and make them owned by Microsoft. They would rather work as like a second party and just publish only on Xbox. That way the companies have all rights to all their blah, 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 blah shit and stuff like that, which I kind of think is an excuse. But at the same time, I see what he's talking about. But I do think it would be beneficial for them to come out and say, hey, Microsoft, we're awesome. We just bought out Visceral Games.
Right. And there's a difference, too. I mean, they don't necessarily need to own the rights.
No.
They could say, listen, you're going to be a first-party studio. You're going to keep the rights to your characters and your game, but you can only publish for us. And that's fine. That's why Insomniac went to them.
Yep.
All right, now let's move to Nintendo. My forte.
Okay, Nintendo. There are a few things that could easily win. We've talked about. Didn't we talk about the new Metroid game, the new F-Zero game, Bayonetta, stuff like that? I think full on announcement of their next Zelda game. Gameplay footage, trailer, talking about the next one, all that stuff, and a release date and stuff. That would definitely be a huge blow.
I'm going to say that it would have to be, at this point, if they want the Wii U to be solvent, they have to just say, hi, we're Nintendo. Let us show you Pokemon RPG.
on Wii U.
home consoles.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be fantastic.
Every Japanese person and their mother would go home and buy a Wii U.
Every little boy and their mother would go home and buy Wii U.
Oh
like
my God.
that's the dream I've had for like 14 years. Like
every
15
college
years.
student in America would go out and buy
Yeah,
a Wii U.
exactly. That would be a huge one. I like that. It's good.
And why they haven't done it is it's driving me nuts. But I think it's on their back burners. They're saving it for a rainy day.
Or the Wii U 2 announcement if that comes out.
No.
And it's $200.
Okay.
Okay. So a little bit of news real quick. Actually, Harmonix, their Kickstarter for Amplitude has met its goal.
Woo.
The 18-day funding drive met its goal of $775,000 last night, with 22 hours before the time ran out, and it actually reached $844,000 with over 14,000 backers. So that's awesome. But they didn't reach their stretch goal of $1.125 million, which would have allowed the studio to add online head-to-head multiplayer in the game. So that kind of sucks.
I mean, they might still do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, they might still end up adding that in, depending on if they get another like publisher guide or somebody throw in some more money. But yeah, that's cool news. Cool news indeed. So, next question.
All right. Let me do this. Brett on Facebook. Is this our Brett?
Yeah, that's our Brett.
Jerk Brett. Brett who got on IGN. Brett who has PS Now beta. All that Brett?
That Brett.
Okay. Brett, I love you. Anyway, it seems like Nintendo is releasing the most steady AAA exclusives this year. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think it will boost hardware sales? And to go more into this, he gave us a small list. It was Bayonetta 2, Hyrule Warriors, X, Super Smash Bros., Mario Kart 8, Sonic Boom, Shin Megami Tensei X Cross Fire Emblem, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. The only ones out really right now, of course, are Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and Mario Kart 8.
Which will be in 7 days.
Yes.
So, but yeah, that's the point I was about to make, was that there's only 2 of those out yet, and the rest of them don't have hard release dates. So saying...
That's true, but then again, that's way more than even the release dates that we have for the PS4.
But that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to make that the PS4 has a lot of exclusives coming out, or that the Xbox One does. I'm making the point that you can't use this list in comparison. You can't say all of these games definitely coming out this year, kicking every other console's ass. You're saying all of these games have a chance of coming out this year, and yeah, if all of those games do come out, then compared to the other consoles, this could definitely win. This could definitely be the awesome AAA. The Wii U has the best games this year, or something like that, or exclusive wise. But
I'm still saying, hands down, Nintendo has the best next gen lineup, or current gen lineup, as compared to the other systems.
I don't think Shin Megami Tensei, Sonic Boom, X, or Bayonetta 2 will sell as well as the rest of them will. The Donkey Kong probably sold well, I assume. Mario Kart is going to sell well. Super Smash Bros. Is going to sell well. And Hyrule Warriors is going to sell well. But the rest of them are more of a niche game. They may have big names. They may be well known. But Sonic doesn't sell well anymore. Sonic Boom is not going to sell well.
Right.
It's just like X is a game known by very few people because it's a Japanese game. It's a JRPG, I believe, an action JRPG, and
Yep.
it's just not going to be a big selling game. It may be a big selling game in Japan, but that doesn't mean it's going to be big selling worldwide. So it's just, there are games on this list that are excellent. Super Smash Bros. Is going to sell like crazy. Mario Kart going to sell like crazy. But does that mean they're going to hit Titanfall numbers or Infamous numbers? We don't know yet. We won't know until the end of the year. But I do think this is a solid list for the Wii U. It's a great list compared to previous years. Absolutely.
Right. I think what it comes down to is it going to boost hardware? Yeah, it's going to boost hardware.
Oh yeah.
Is it going to boost it enough to make it, a competitor? Probably not. I'm going to say that I really lost any chance on that, or I don't think it's going to happen. However, if you're a gamer, should you own a Wii U? Hell yeah, you should. These are great games coming out. It's one of the strongest lineups, I think, that we've seen so far in the current gen. And it's something that you're not getting on the other consoles.
Yep, absolutely. This is a year to buy into the Wii U. If anything, that's what that list says. This is the year. Get it this year. There are great games coming. You're going to find a game you enjoy. Maybe you enjoy one game out of that list. Maybe you're just a karting fan. Maybe you don't really like all the other games, but you're going to find games you're going to enjoy compared to other years. Because like other years, you basically had to be a Mario fan. It's like that was basically it.
Right. Buy a Wii U. Save Iwata's job.
Yep. I think we've been going on long enough with the questions. I think we can save the next ones for next week's episode.
Jake, we love you. We're going to just save those.
Yeah, Jake. You know we'll get to them. We'll wait for next week. Actually, I didn't mean to delete that. Okay, so let's move into the game releases this week before we wrap up. On PlayStation 3, you have Wolfenstein: The New Order, Drakengard 3, Mugen Souls Z, Darksiders Collection, and R-Type Dimensions. On PlayStation 4, you'll have Wolfenstein: The New Order, Transistor, and Sparkle 2. And on PlayStation Vita, you have Z-Run and Sparkle 2. We don't have our Microsoft correspondent
I know.
this week, so you want to split up the Microsoft stuff?
Sure.
You want to do the consoles or do you want to do the PC?
I'll do the PC. That's big.
Okay, so then on 360, you also have Wolfenstein, Darksiders Collection, and Max the Curse of Brotherhood. And then on Xbox One, you just have Wolfenstein: The New Order.
One is the loneliest Anyway, on PC, we're seeing Transistor, Wolfenstein: The New Order, Darksiders Complete, freaking Meatbags. I haven't heard anything about that. I love the name.
My contact that got me my Bound by Flame review code, his PR company or his publishing company or whatever is also handling that. So he was sending out review codes for that this week. And I didn't get it because I'm not a PC gamer and I don't know what the game is, but I saw him tweeting about it. So
right. Then there's All Monsters coming out Wednesday. Forsaken World, Blood Harvest Wednesday. The Forest, The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 2. Panzer Tactics HD, and Killer is Dead Nightmare Edition. Now for the Nintendo stuff. On the Wii U, we're going to have Swords and Soldiers, and on the 3DS, we're having nothing this week.
Nothing at retail.
Nothing at retail.
I believe there were some eShop stuff, like remakes of stuff, but I couldn't find any solid release dates anywhere. And a lot of my stuff said like in Europe only, and I was like, oh, okay.
Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second.
Every week I use Metacritic as my main go-to for the announcements for the releases and everything like that. And more often than not, they have every game on there, but every once in a while they miss out on a game or two. So
I'm just quickly going through all of my latest emails because I remember getting something about the digital releases.
Okay.
But
Ba-ba-ba-bum-bum-ba-ba.
we're just killing time, guys. Thanks for listening.
Da 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 da.
All right, I don't have it, but
Okay.
I'll make sure to forward them next time to you.
Okay, cool. So that wraps up episode 34 of the Middle of Nowhere Gaming Podcast. Remember, go check out our YouTube page. We need some more subscribers there. Check out all of our new Let's Plays. We're going to be doing more video content every week. Check out our Facebook page. Get us to 750 likes, guys.
We'll give you something.
Yeah, we'll have a big giveaway. Depending on what week we get there, it'll probably be a new release or a release within the past few weeks. Just depends. So get us there. Share us with everyone. You can find it on Facebook at Middle of Nowhere Gaming MONG. Just search that in the search bar or facebook.com/Middle of Nowhere Gaming MONG. You can find us on Twitter at MONG Podcast. We ask you every week to email us at mong.podcast@gmail.com with any questions you have, comments you have, anything you want to go on the podcast, anything like that. We typically record on Wednesdays and release on Thursdays. That was not the case this week due to scheduling issues, but we will try to get back to it. And if we change our schedule, we will let you know. Now that it's summer, it's kind of things are up in the air. We're not sure. But check out the website, middleofnowheregaming.com, for all of our latest reviews and news and previews and all of that good stuff. We just had a Super Time Force review go up today, right?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. And then news about the Nintendo giveaway. Did you announce that? Did you talk about that?
I did not. I'm trying to avoid it because I want to win. But for those who actually have been listening and have listened this far, you get to hear about this. It's Nintendo's holding a Super Smash Bros. People's Challenger contest, where if you go and submit a 15-second video on Instagram saying why you deserve to win, they can send you 2 round-trip tickets out to E3, and you'll get to play the winner of the Invitational, and you get show floor tickets for E3. So definitely do that. And if you win, definitely invite me, because I'm awesome. I'll buy you drinks all weekend. I want to go.
Oh, fair enough. Also, go to our podcast on iTunes and subscribe and rate us there, please. You can find the link on our Facebook page and on our actual website and good stuff like that. You can also follow us individually on Twitter. I am at Osborne_2009. Lou is?
I'm at Lou Cantaldi.
Yeah. And that's it for the episode 20, 34.
Going back in time.
Back in time, traveling.
Super Time Force.
Super Time Force, Mong edition. Mong.
Mong.
Mong?